Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, good morning, good morning, good morning. Good Monday morning. We're so glad that you're here today. This is the Radke Show that you're watching. I'm Melissa Radke. This is my co-host and my husband and my best friend, David Radke. And he sits here and he produces the show while I talk endlessly. Although he does every once in a while pop in.
Chime.
He chimes in. Thank you. I couldn't think of the word. Well, good morning, everybody. So glad. Oh, I see we've got people already saying good morning, good morning, good morning. Right before we started, David was talking to me about he has these. Explain what they are on your phone.
Just affirmations that I read every day.
Okay. So what would you do if someone who was watching is like, oh, I don't believe in that kind of stuff. That's new age, David. And I don't know if you noticed, but I gave that person my mother's voice because that sounds just like something she would say. Like, we forget. So I've even taught on that before, the importance of doing that. And I've forgotten to do it. Like I was doing it regularly while I brushed my teeth. I would press play on my phone. I have them recorded on my phone, and I would press play on my phone and then listen to them as I brush my teeth. I've forgotten to do it for the last 100,000 months. But tell them the importance of doing that for you.
Well, it's extremely important. It just, I have over time created a list of, I don't know, maybe like 20 affirmations that I'm just going to speak over myself, believe of myself. And although I spend a fair amount of time in prayer and those type of things, these aren't necessarily spiritual affirmations, although some of them could be, but they're on how I'm going to approach the day, how I'm going to think about things, how I'm going to treat about people, what people think about me, those kind of things. And it's good for all of us because if we're not continually reintroducing that to our minds and our lives and our vernacular, then it's really easy to forget not only what we are or who we are, as well as what we want to be.
Right.
Because some of those are, speaking,
in the future
of, those kind of things.
And I'm sure some of y'all are on here like, wow, what a way to start a Monday. Actually, it's actually probably the best way to start a Monday as a reminder to you that we are not just, I don't want to just be present right now. I want to be planning for future Melissa, for what I can do, what is going to come my way. And don't think for a second that your affirmations have to all be prosperity affirmations. I'm going to be rich. Money's going to fall from trees for me. It doesn't have to be that. I'm going to be more confident when I walk into a room. I believe people want to be my friend. I'm going to command attention because people want to know more about me. I'm interested, that kind of thing. I was just thinking about as we start this Monday, what are some things that you need to begin to believe about yourself? This is not normally a way we start a show, but it's so important. Maybe somebody needs to hear that. What is something or what is a way that you need to believe about yourself? Go ahead and write those things down and begin to say those things to you. It just kind of came to my mind. And so I'm glad we were talking about that, David. Maybe somebody needs to do that today. Maybe you were like me and you had them all written out and you absolutely loved them and then you lost them. Or you forgot about them, or you were in the habit of doing them and then you fell out of the habit of doing them. Maybe it's important for you to start that back. Well, happy Monday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. We did. And I say we, meaning me and the kids, because we didn't work outside. I don't know what bug crawled up in his swim shorts, but I'm going to tell you what, one did, because this one right here decided, you know what? 112 degree heat index, be damned. I'm going to go outside and work in the yard. I don't get it. And in order to make him feel like he wasn't the only one working, I decided to clean out my closet because it's indoors and it's in the air condition. And I thought to myself, there's so many jobs I could have given him inside. All he need to do is ask. But you spent a good amount of time. And so what ended up happening is he stayed out in that heat too much and he's lost about 19 pounds.
No, I wish.
That's a man for you.
I wish.
They just get one harpoo and they lose 11 pounds. This one stays outside and he loses 19 pounds of sweat. Whereas I was in my closet working, gained 4 pounds, don't even know how I did it. But you did. You worked really, really hard this weekend.
I did. I've been needing to get it done, and I wanted to get it done before
It looks like a different house.
the next week or
all of our shrubs and our bushes had gotten so high, and now it looks like a different house. What about you guys? What did you do this weekend? Let us know in the comments what you did. Person with the most exciting weekend wins. What did they win, David?
our love and affirmation.
Our love and affirmation. You'll never be missing it. So
You also didn't mention the brisket. That's also a time-consuming.
I actually was going to mention that. Somebody said they had a retirement party for their mom. That's sweet. I mean, you don't win anything by doing that. I mean, maybe like God's like tipping his hat to you, but I mean, I wouldn't say you win anything for that. Got over a sinus infection. You certainly didn't win. Someone else worked. You definitely didn't win. Celebrated my husband's 55th. Okay. Hey, all right.
Good,
That's
pretty
pretty good. I was glued to Bama Rush and Bid Day on TikTok. Sarah Lindsay, you win. And I'm going to tell you why you win.
I thought Bama Rush has already started.
Oh, Lord, yes. David, you behind.
You know what? Actually, now that you said that, I did at least last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I've seen some Georgia and Texas A&M Rush.
Oh, baby. Oh, they start early.
We have one of Remy's friends. Her rush starts today at the University of Texas, and so that's why. But I guess different schools have different timing or whatever.
Bama Rush be in the thick of it. And I have been going down a rabbit hole as well. Let me ask you this, Sarah Lindsay. This is where you're going to want to tune out. Who on TikTok do you watch? Do you watch anyone in particular that like commentates on, they're a commentator on Bama Rush, or do you just watch the Bama Rush girls, the few who decide they're going to do an outfit of the day? Who exactly are you watching? Let's see. Tanya, it was a horribly hot weekend. We had an outside engagement party to attend. We haven't gone. Celebrated turning 46 yesterday by staying in a quiet home, sent the hubs and kids out for the day. Well, we've got our winner, everybody. I mean, you have to be 46 before you realize it, but the best day you could ever spend is the one away from your family. And you learn that on the day you turn 46. Okay.
So Stephanie Summer said that she watches Bama Morgan.
Bama Morgan, of course, and all of the outfits of the day.
And
okay, Christina
says the lady who says sissy cat.
Okay, so she's a friend of mine, Brandis. Okay? Actually, it's her best friend who's a friend of mine. But I have to tell you.
Who's that?
Okay, look, I just ordered my Ortho Tri Delta shirt yesterday. Okay. Brandis and her bestie, they've been best friends since high school. And Brandis was in a Greek, what am I trying to say? A sorority. And her girlfriend was making fun of her. Why am I blanking on the bestie's name? I'm completely blanking on the bestie's name. I'm just completely blanking. Anyway, she was making fun of Brandis. This was back in the early 90s for being in a sorority. And so she said, I'm going to come up with my own sorority. And so she came up with Ortho Tri Delta. And that was based off of a birth control that you could take in the 90s. But what was it? Does anybody remember a type of birth control? I think I had it. When David and I first got married, it was injected into my arm. What was that called? That was injected into
Depo-Provera.
That was Depo-Provera. Ortho something. So she came up with this Ortho Tri Delta based off of a birth control. Does anybody remember?
It sounds like Ortho
Tricycline. That's right. That's right. Okay. I had the Depo shot, but Ortho Tricycline. That's right. So she came up with Ortho Tri Delta, and they now have shirts made, and I just ordered myself one. If you're in the sorority with them, with all the other sissy cats. And Brandis does this comment. You've watched Brandis several times, and you might not have known it. You laugh at her all the time.
Past, or?
No, like recently. You'll lay in bed and look at my TikToks, and you'll laugh at this woman. She's got really, really, really blue eyes, long lashes, blonde hair, and she would remind you a little bit of me.
So she's a woman. I thought all the rush stuff was the girls that are in the thing.
Right, but Brandis is like a commentator for it. Okay, so she'll have pictures of their outfits of the day, and she'll be like, "Okay, Sissy Cat, let me tell you something." This is what she said the other day. She goes, "Bama Rush, y'all were doing so good not being high drama. But somewhere the cheese fell off the crackers, and panties got shoved up in hind ends." Because y'all got all drunk. And I think it was because Bama Morgan once again did not make it into it. She didn't get a bid. Okay, but here's what you need to know. I have a personal, wonderful, lovely, love her, dear friend. Her name is Heather Adams. You need to look her up on TikTok. Heather has been doing TikToks from the front porch of Alpha Pi at University of Arkansas.
Georgia.
Heather has been in the front yard at Oklahoma State. Heather has, so when I said University of Arkansas and you corrected me, you was wrong, but I didn't want to take it there.
Well, she's like, I say high up, but I mean like she's a
recruitment advisor.
Yeah.
David, she has made TikToks in the last week from Arkansas, Alabama, and Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
She is all over helping these girls. And she literally put up a TikTok the other day explaining why Bama Morgan did not get a bid. And tons of people are writing back and saying, this is the best explanation of what sorority, what it even means to those of us who don't understand. Like Heather explains it so well. So if you are at all looking to try and figure it out, I am for Remy's sake. Because he just said to you guys, a girlfriend of Remy's. This ain't just no girlfriend of Remy's. This is Rashana. This is the bestie. She moved yesterday to the University of Texas in Arlington. No, University of Texas in Austin. She moved there. She got like free ride because she's going to be some kind of cardiovascular surgeon for all we know. Although I did ask her parents at dinner on Friday night, what would you do if she came home and said she just wanted to open up a tattoo parlor? How would y'all? And her dad's was like, oh, you are really trying us tonight, Melissa. She is not going to do that. Surely no. She will not open up a tattoo parlor. But by the way, I talked like that in front of them.
And they
love it. So we've decided that we were going to watch how Rush goes for Rashana and then decide that would be the deciding factor if Remy ever decided to rush. What I've learned from Heather is it might be best to go. Tell me if you guys agree. It might be best to go to college the first year and decide your sophomore year to rush because you become friends with people. You become friends with girls and then you know which one you're going to fit into. You know which girls you end up eating lunch with, which girls you go over to their house on Friday nights and watch. I mean, you kind of know. A lot of times freshmen go in and they are spending all of this money and not knowing. I think that's what Heather said. All I know is privately last night in bed when I was watching it and you were snoring, I was giving you high fives that we might not have to spend that money now. Next year, we might get one more year to save up is all I'm thinking. They have less spots for sophomores in a sorority. Give her my number in Austin if she needs anything quickly. Oh my gosh, that's so precious. You're moving.
That's why.
What if I give it to her and she's like, I need some Tampax in my class, stat. And you're like, I'm sorry, I've already moved to Beaumont.
Well, that's why she said quickly. Like I'm here for another hour. So I understand what you're saying, but I understand what they're saying that there's less spots for sophomores.
Okay.
Number one. And number two, I thought one of the things that was big about sororities is it helps kids get kind of acclimated. True. It kind of gives them a kind of a base to start with. Like we know, not real well, but we know a girl that went off to school last year, extremely smart girl. Her first semester was terrible because she was like, I'm going to focus on class. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. But she didn't really get involved in any organizations or sororities. She said,
I wish I could do it so different.
And her second semester, she went back and got involved in organizations and those type things. And she said it was a totally different world. And I love it. I'm excited to go back now. Mm-hmm. So being involved, and you don't have to be in a sorority to be involved, obviously, but so that don't you kind of lose part of that if you
100%. I hear what you're saying. And I very well may be putting words in Heather's mouth. I could text Heather right now and ask her just yes or no. Just yes or no. Should a freshman or should you wait till your sophomore year? But I may be putting words in Heather's mouth, but I'm also like you. See, I flip flop. I'm like, maybe she should get there. Maybe she just decide who she's friends with. But I'm also like you. Maybe she should get there and already have friends and make it easier. Heather, though, is saying things like, you guys, these girls, first of all, Heather she explained the math behind why there are so many bids and really what goes into a house choosing a girl. It's really very, very technical. It's very technical. This is not a popularity contest. No, but she wore Gucci every day, y'all. It's not. I mean, it is a business. It is a business. You're laughing because you think I'm lying.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the I'm trying to think of the way to put it, but the consultants, the people that have done this before and done that, I think that's the message that they send. And I think there probably are some houses like that. But I would think a larger majority, it's not quite like that. It's a little bit more, do we like you? And that could be, I like the clothes you wear. I like you because you make me laugh.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you, and you guys tell me if you agree with this or not. I don't know if they know this at 19 years old, but I'm going to vote somebody in the house that's going to be hella fun and easy to live with, who's going to be a hard worker and a straight shooter over what they're wearing. When you have to live with somebody, right? You are deciding this is going to be the sorority house I live in and I'm going to do life with you. Surely they are voting on just more than who looks great in a pair of Spanx. Surely. Did you see how tiny her waist was? Because, when you got to live together, it's a whole thing, right? I would vote completely differently.
So, where was that at? I think Sue's. Oh, she says, as a former sorority girl, it's disgusting what goes into choosing pledges.
Really? Because, see, Elle Cryer says it can't be. There are lawyers in all the meetings. A lot of emphasis is on grades, volunteer stuff on resumes, and hobby. It can't be based on popularity. But then Missy said, no, that depends on the group.
Yeah.
I think every one of y'all are making a great point.
And you can have all the lawyers that you want in the room. If a girl walks in to the preppiest of the preppy sororities and the girl walks in and she's in cowboy boots, she's not going to get a bid for that sorority. The end. That has nothing to do with her grades. It has nothing to do with how great she is, but stylistically, she does not fit. So she would not get in. So you can have lawyers in the room, and they probably use that extremely loosely, especially if the lawyers are legacy people. But yeah, I
work for a sorority for Rush. It's very different now. We have so much legal points we have to hit. I'm telling you, that is what Heather was saying. Heather was like, guys, it is not what it was. She said, it certainly is not what it was when I was in sorority. It's not even what it was a couple of years back. And I don't know why that would have changed like that.
Now,
but
Emily Gibbs did correct me. What was the brand of the cowboy boots the girl was wearing?
Yeah.
Because that could make a difference.
And Diane's like,
but this, I think this is interesting too. And I remember when we toured TCU hearing this, TCU does not rush in the fall. They rush in the spring. And it's because of what you said about getting acclimated, getting that. And so
Baylor, you can't rush the first year. You can only rush your sophomore year at Baylor.
Did somebody say that or you already knew?
I remember that.
Oh, I remember.
I remember that from Baylor. So anyway, Diane said, now, personally, if you're wearing cowboy boots at an A&M sorority, you're probably in, period. And that I would agree with that. So y'all are asking if Remy is going to rush. I'm going to tell you the truth. Remy will rush based off of what Rashana tells her. 100%. You may go, well, that's not being standing on her own 2 feet. Oh, we know. If Rashana says, Remy, I'm so glad I did it. I would do it a million times over. It's so great to have the friends. You go into college knowing who your people are. Remy will do it. If Rashana says, I hate it. Which this would be Rashana. I hate dressing up every day. I have to wear makeup every day. Like, if she says that, then Remy, it will 100%. So in 8 or 9 months, ask me if Remy is rushing and I will let you know, because Rashana will have told her. You know, even though they'll be at different schools, Rashana will have told her. We are really still looking at schools. I start to get my heart set a little bit on certain schools that I want Remy to think about. And David has his. Everybody is asking if Remy is going to go to A&M. I'm going to tell you, for me, that's down on my list. That is down on my list. I don't know why. It doesn't. I don't feel like it's the school for her. I want Remy to look at Arkansas. I want her to look at Alabama, and I really like TCU. But I'm not ready to sell a kidney on the black market, nor is David, for TCU, which recently, according to a Wall Street Journal article, is now the most expensive university in the United States.
It's more expensive than Harvard. I don't know about but it's more expensive than Harvard.
It's more expensive than Harvard.
And it's a great school. So
I would like Remy to look at Pepperdine.
Okay. She's not looking at any more schools now. We've already narrowed it down and locked in what the school she's applying to. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, David.
But at this point, it's about
TCU
acceptance as well as
money.
What kind of offer they give. So,
somebody said, "What if she doesn't want to go and she wants to do nails for a living?" Okay.
They must have seen her.
Blur. Yeah, she just got blur yesterday. Blur. Oh, all right. Here's the deal. I say, all right. I hope that's how I would feel. I really want my children to be productive members of society. That's really what I want. I want them to be good humans. I want them to have a happy, happy marriage and raise kids and want to vacation with us and celebrate the holidays with us and find a good local church, because I believe the local church is the lifeblood of the community. That's really what I want. And you don't need a TCU degree for that. And you don't need to rush Bama for that. But that's just me.
Yeah. Well, and its education is so different than it used to be. There are obviously certain things that you do have to go to college for. If you're going to be a doctor, if you're going to be an attorney, if you're going to, there's certain things that you don't have another path or other option. But there are so many things that are actually available now outside of them. And there's a couple, there's a couple of degrees I would probably discourage the kids going. Mm-hmm. If one of our kids said they wanted to do marketing and they wanted to go to a university, I'd say you are burning
wasting
a whole lot of money. You are learning things that are probably already out of date. By the time you graduate, they'll be long gone. And
because it is evolving so quickly.
So that's a good example for me. There's several other ones, similar to that. And that's not talking down on anybody's marketing program, but I'm just saying there are certain things that, because of the way society is and technology is moving and those kind of things, that you don't have to go to school. And some of the people making the most money are actually in trades. They're plumbers and electricians and AC, HVAC people.
It was so sad the other day because we were driving in the car, and Taylor, her dad, is the high school principal at her school. And her dad used to be an electrician. And out randomness, complete randomness, she goes, Mr. David, if my dad was still an electrician, would he be making more money than he would as a high school principal? And instantly, David and I both went like this. Absolutely. Yes. 100%. Isn't that sad?
I did try to backtrack a little bit going, I'm sorry. I don't even know exactly what your dad.
And David goes, I don't know how good of an electrician he was, but that's what's really sad is that our education system is paid so much less, but don't get me started on that. Speaking of jobs, David and I were talking the other day. We went to Houston. We had to do some quick looking around for some stuff and make a Costco run and stuff like that. So we went to Houston on Friday, and we got to talking about jobs that we had when we were first married. And the number of jobs that David had when we were first married would absolutely make you fall over laughing. It's hysterical. Okay. Rocco was like, give me an example. David said, today, Rocco, in this world today, you call them dupes. But back in the early 90s, we called them knockoffs. And I sold knockoff cologne door to door.
That's not even sort of true.
What?
Well, it was one day. It was one day, and it wasn't.
I wasn't gonna do that. It looks bad on you.
And no, because when I got there, I'm like, yeah, this is not for me. And when I got there, but it was selling colognes to stores.
Knockoffs to stores?
Yeah.
What stores? Walgreens?
No, mom and pop shops, and
Like Dracar Noir. Yeah. But anyway, okay, back to this. What I was going to ask you guys is that I'm not talking about your first job. Okay. Your first job, those are always going to be crappy, what your first little job is. I'm talking about that job that you had to have when you were first married, because y'all were combining these incomes, right? And you had to make it work. Like mine was, I want to know what yours is in the comment. Tell me what it was. This was, I had to work at Victoria's Secret because whatever. I want to know. Mine was working in the accessories department at Dillard's. And I would work 6, 7, 8-hour shifts. And I had never, ever been on my feet that long. And y'all, I can remember going, when I think of people doing jobs out like in the heat of the day, standing beside a grill, like making burgers, I feel so terrible. But I would go home and I would just sob and say, rub my feet, David, rub my feet. David would have just gotten off work waiting tables for 12 hours and he would have to rub my feet. Okay. But what were yours? Bank teller. Oh, taking classified ads at the newspaper. Okay. Another bank teller.
Car wash. At the car wash.
Not a mall interviewer. I would pass you up so much. I would pass you up all the time. I had to work at a car wash to supplement my bank teller job. Video store employer. I worked in Mrs. Clothing in a McRae's department store.
When I read that first, I thought it said, I worked in missing clothing.
I worked in missing clothing.
I'm like, what kind of department store?
Bath and Body, worst job ever. Mine was working as a bus aide for Head Start. I don't even know what that is. But
Head Start's like before kindergarten.
Oh, and a bus aide. I guess you just sit on the bus. Was that hard for you? Oh, was that so hard for you? Developed 35 millimeter film and printed pictures at a 1-hour photo lab. And I worked at a kiosk with the brain teaser puzzles. Girl, I probably stopped by and saw you.
And got very confused.
And walked away. So what some of the jobs that we had to have when we were first married, David, okay, I will tell y'all this last one and then we will go. When David and I first got married, he knew he gonna need to make a little extra something, okay? So David started a business. He has always been entrepreneurial in spirit. He always has been. And he's always been a very hard worker. He has a great work ethic. David, would you like to tell them the name of the company?
Completely Clean.
He started a business with his best friend called Completely Clean. And they would go in to stores after closing and wax the floors. Is that right? Just wax them?
Well, no, I mean, buff the floors.
Okay.
Clean the floors. For like,
and he got jobs like
PetSmart,
Toys R
Us, and those kind of things. But then we also had offices that we would clean. Like when they left for the day, we'd go in and empty the trash and vacuum and.
And I can remember we'd been married about 3 months and my parents drove to Dallas and spent the night with us in our apartment. And David said, I'm going to have to go ahead and go to bed because I got to be up at 3 a.m. And my mom was like, David, are you still cleaning, honey? And he said, yeah, I get up at 3 in order to be there at 3:30. That way the store can be ready to roll at, 6 or whatever. And I remember him saying, so I'm going to go to bed early. And my dad said, are you going to go with him, Melissa, and help? And I was like, mm-mm. And my mom said, Melissa Page, I didn't raise you like that. You need to go and help him. And I went and helped him. And he said, I do not want you to ever come with me again. I don't care how much your parents ride you. Please do not ever come with me again. I did absolutely nothing. I looked at the cats that you could adopt at PetSmart and cried the entire time. I mean, but he has always been like that. He worked so hard. So I never ever went back with him, but when my parents would come into town, I would have to go with him. So, all right. Well, happy Monday, you guys. Have a great one. Make yourself a list of affirmations and begin to play those while you're brushing your teeth every day. It's a really great habit to get into. Do that, and you might not have to be sitting as a bus aide for Head Start next year. Bye, y'all.
See ya.